It is 2021. I don't know how, but here we are. I wanted to remake this video, which served as a very popular video last year, all about the 10 best places to live in Mexico. Just like the video from last year, this video is totally subjective. It is based on my opinions, my experiences around Mexico, my likes and dislikes. So please take that into account as you listen for the top 10 places that I would love to live in this country. I've swapped out a lot of places just based on mostly on what I'm looking for now. It's really different than what I was looking for a year ago. Life is so different now, and I really want to spend a lot more time outside in 2021. It was something that brought me a lot of peace, a lot of space, mental and physical, in 2020, and it's something that I really want to bring into the new year. So without further ado, let's get into the 10 places that I really want to live, with a few places at the end that I think you might like as well. As always with these videos, I will link in the comment section to the different timings so that you can skip around. This time I have not put it in order of my top 10, with 10 being, the least likely and 1 being the most likely. I've just sort of sectioned them off based on cities, beaches, and then a few places that I haven't been but that are super, super high on my priority list for 2021, that I would like to spend extended periods of time. So let's get into it. Let's start with the beach towns. So a new addition to the list is Sayulita. You guys, I am in love with Sayulita. If you haven't seen my videos from that trip that I went on in October, I'll link to them here. It was like the sanest I felt in 2020. It's a town that is so beautiful. It has so much good food. There are so many beaches and hikes. It's got a real mixture of people. There were Argentinians there, and there were Americans and Canadians and Europeans, and it just felt like this really, I don't know, like an escape. So I understand why a lot of people live there. I did try to to find a place there in December, but it was just a little out of my price range. It's certainly more expensive than some of the other beach towns that I've lived in the past. But if my budget was a little higher, I would without a doubt call Sayulita home. It's such a beautiful part of Mexico. I fell in love. And I also really love San Pancho, which is like just up the road from Sayulita. I understand why people prefer that to Sayulita. And I know just along the whole Riviera Nayarit is just such a beautiful part of Mexico. I will definitely be returning there, if not for longer periods of time, maybe in 2022 for a place to live. The next beach town city on the list is one that I got to know somewhat well in December, and that is Mazatlan. I think it is such a cool city. I can't believe it's taken me so long to go there. It's so beautiful. The beaches are incredible. The city is so well set up. The Centro Histórico has such beautiful buildings. And then as you head sort of along the coastline, the Malecon, what a great place to exercise, to ride bikes. The beach along that area is so beautiful. And then as you head out of the town, there's more beaches. It's just endless. There's islands for hiking and camping. The food is incredible. The seafood is amazing. So yeah, I highly recommend adding that to your list if you're thinking about beach towns. It's super affordable as well in comparison to other beach towns that I've been to. We paid $350 a month for rent while we were there, and we stayed in a place that was right in the centro and really close to everything. It wasn't super high end or anything crazy, but it had absolutely everything we needed. All bills were included. So yeah, I imagine that if you're looking for long-term rent in Mazatlan, you can definitely get yourself a bargain. The third and final beach town on this list is one that I talk about all the time, one that I would love to call home, one that I have spent a decent amount of time in the past, a place I return to again and again, and that is Puerto Vallarta. I love this city. It's just great. It has everything. It has everything that you need to live by the beach and still be able to enjoy city amenities like great restaurants, awesome bars, such nice people, and just Yeah, it's a great place. There's every neighborhood has its own character, and that's something that I really appreciate about Puerto Vallarta. And it's something that draws me back in all the time, testing out different neighborhoods and seeing which is my favorite, and seeing lots of different beaches. The other thing that I really love about Puerto Vallarta is that it's a really good base because the rest of the coast of Jalisco is so beautiful. Some of you know that I spent a fair bit of time last summer in a town called Barra de Navidad, which is also near Malaque and very close to Manzanillo. None of those places are on my list because I probably don't need to live there again, but that coastal area between Manzanillo and Puerto Vallarta is incredible, and I highly recommend renting a car the next time you're in Puerto Vallarta and doing a road trip along it because it is amazing. So we move on to the cities, both big and small. There are a lot of swap outs that surprised even me on this list, I'll be honest. The returner on this list is Querétaro. I still think it's an amazing place to live. If you're not following Alex of the Backpacking Brunette, I highly recommend doing so. She lives in Querétaro and she does YouTube videos pretty much every week about what it's like living there, and she's hilarious. So if you want to know more about what it's like, the cost of living, experiences finding apartments and that sort of stuff, I'll link to her channel in the description box below so that you can follow along with her and get more detailed information. But otherwise, Querétaro is a beautiful city. It's very small compared to living in Mexico City, like I have done for the last 4 years, but it still has all the amenities. It's super walkable if you live in the downtown, but there's also quite a lot going on in the neighborhoods around Querétaro that I think are cool, especially the Hercules Brewery, which is pretty awesome. Number 5 on this list, and a place that I definitely did not expect to ever put on this list, and that is San Miguel de Allende. I have like, not a love-hate relationship, but a love-confusion relationship with this city. I did a video about it last year or 2 years ago now when I revisited. I'll link it here. It was just a conversation that I wanted to understand why people loved it so much, and then I revisited it, and then I spoke to more people who lived there, and then I followed people who live there on social media, and I realized it's a really cool place. While it may be well known around Mexico as the haven for expats and retirees, it's actually really cool. Like, it's trying to change its image a lot. It's full of really cool bars, really incredible restaurants. It's kind of like a bougie chic city now, and I can see myself maybe in a couple more years like spending a lot more time there. It's certainly more expensive than a lot of other places in Mexico, and that's something that I don't love. But I understand the draw, and I do believe that it's a really cool place to live, a really beautiful place to live. And I think based around what's been happening in the state of Guanajuato in the last year or so, safety-wise, I think that it's probably a better choice than Guanajuato at the moment, which was on my list last year. And if you want to be in this mountainous region of Mexico, San Miguel de Allende is such a great place to base yourself. 6, 7, and 8, I'll just go in quick succession because they were on last year's list and I still love them, and that is Mérida, Oaxaca, and Guadalajara. Amazing cities that should not be missed. If you want to live in a city and you're not too worried about being that close to the beach, Oaxaca and Guadalajara are amazing cities, both very different. Lots of history, lots of amazing museums, incredible food in both places. As always, I will link to some videos so that you guys can check out more about those places if you've never been. Mérida is a good option if you want city life, but you also want to be close to the beach. It's less than an hour away to the coast. Those beaches are far less explored than the closer Cancun and Playa del Carmen and Tulum, which are very well explored these days. But I just love it so much, and as many of you know, if it wasn't so hot, I'd probably live in Mérida, so there you go. Number 9 is a new addition to this list, and another place that I was never sure that I would add to this list, and that is Lake Chapala. I spent a little bit of time there in November, and I fell in love. It's so beautiful. I completely understand why so many people flock to this area. Perhaps one of the things that maybe puts me off, or put me off initially, was that it is the largest area of expats in the entire country. And by that, I mean like the largest area of North Americans that aren't Mexican live in Lake Chapala in comparison to other parts of Mexico. So it's an amalgamation, if you will, like it's a mezcla of cultures there. But it's still so close to Guadalajara, and the lake is so beautiful. I went there in November and the weather was incredible, which is something people always rave about with Lake Chapala. And I just loved it. It was so amazing. I could just imagine waking up and going for a walk along the Malecon every day, and seeing that lake, going out on the lake on a boat. I know this a lot of you told me that there's like a ferry boat usually that takes you out to that island in the middle. It wasn't running when we were there, but all the different towns around there. If you had a car, you could just go on day trips and explore and get away from the crowds. And I get it. It's beautiful, and I think it's a place that I could definitely call home for a little while. Number 10 is more like a region, I guess. But when I went to Chihuahua, I did not want to leave. I've never been to a place in Mexico that wasn't warm that I loved so much. Chihuahua was cold in November, but Copper Canyon was magical, truly magical. And the people, from the moment we arrived in the city of Chihuahua, from the moment we left on the train out to Sinaloa, everyone in Chihuahua was so nice, incredibly nice. So yeah, if I could live in the city of Chihuahua and learn more about the history there, I loved the size of it. I loved the architecture. The food was incredible. And the access to Copper Canyon, and not just Copper Canyon, but Chihuahua is the biggest state in Mexico. So you can imagine that it has so much to see and do. And it just like sparked something in me. I want to get back there, and I really, really hope that we can get back there this year and get to know the city better, and also get back into Copper Canyon and do more hiking. It was just some of the best moments of all of my time in Mexico in the last 4.5 years. So if that gives you any sense of how amazing this place is, I really recommend adding it to your list. No one talks about Chihuahua in terms of expats sort of moving to this region, and I don't know why, because it's amazing. Okay, it's not hot. Well, it's hot in the summer, but it's not like tropical weather. It's probably weather that you're trying to escape in whatever country you're trying to exit. So I understand that it's not probably high on a lot of people's priority list, but it's so worth your time, even if not to live, to visit. It's just amazing, and I really hope to get back there and spend a lot more of my time. It's a place that I would love to like use as a base for I don't know, as long as I can. So those are the top 10. As promised, there are a few places on this list that I have not been to, but I really want to spend more time, and I believe, based on a lot of your recommendations, but also on research that I've done, that they would be places that I would love to live. And they include Aguascalientes, Zacatecas, Jalapa in Veracruz. Is it Jalapa with the X? Because there's also a Jalapa in Jalisco, I think, right? But I mean the Jalapa in Veracruz. And then finally Todos Santos, which is in Baja California Sur, sort of between Cabo and La Paz. I love La Paz. It's in my video from last year. You guys know that I would happily live there, but 10 is a limiting number, and I wanted to share more places with you that I discovered in the last 365 days that I want to spend more time in. And that's where my focus is for 2021. So yeah, I'm out of breath and I'm out of places to live. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments below which of these places you would love to live. Did I leave somewhere off the list? I always do, that you guys love. So let me know in the comments below. Somewhere that I haven't been, or perhaps that you love, that's sort of off the beaten path, and that you think is an amazing place to live in. Let me know. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up. It really supports my channel, and I will see you next time. Bye.